Welcome back to Washington Watch. Thanks for joining us. All right, as we've been discussing, a lot of pushback over what the Department of Government Efficiency is doing to cut down on wasteful spending. And part of that is coming from judges who are slowing down the efforts. Over the weekend, for example, a federal judge temporarily restricted DOGE's access to the Treasury Department's payment and data system, saying there was a risk of irreparable harm. Now, Republicans, in response, have accused the judges of abusing their positions. How can Congress work together with DOGE to assist in those efforts to ensure that the law is complied with, but that we eliminate this waste of taxpayer money? Joining me now to discuss this, Senator Ted Cruz of Texas, who has been assisting in efforts to root out government waste as chairman of the Senate Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation. Senator Cruz, welcome back to Washington Watch. Thanks for joining us.
Tony, great to join you. Thank you for having me.
So you also are on the Senate Judiciary Committee. In addition, you're a lawyer who has worked in the Department of Justice, and you were Solicitor General of Texas. You've got quite a resume. What do you make of these actions by judges against the efforts of the Trump administration? Understanding there's separation of powers and there's checks and balances, but what's your take?
Well, listen, we are 3 weeks into this Trump presidency, 21 days. It's hard to believe it has only been 3 weeks. We've never seen a president hit the ground running this fast with so much shock and awe. And I got to say, what Elon Musk is doing at DOGE, I think, is incredibly important. And he's very much embodying the Silicon Valley ethos of move fast and break things. And he is targeting and highlighting egregious waste and working to shut it down. Now, we can expect throughout the Trump presidency that there is going to be a wave of lawsuits from Democrat attorneys general, lawsuits from left-wing interest groups. And some of the lawsuits are going to prevail at least at different points in time. But this effort, at the end of the day, what President Trump is doing is following through on his mandate from the American people. In November, there was a clear and unequivocal mandate. They reelected President Trump. They gave us a Republican Senate, a Republican House. We're going to rein in this abuse and rein in really this weaponization of the federal government that we saw under Joe Biden and the Democrats, where they used the Department of Justice, they used the FBI to target their political enemies. And you look at the spending we're seeing, for example, in USAID, it is a wish list of left-wing groups that are being paid off, and they're spending money, $2 million on sex changes in Guatemala, $8 million on teaching DEI in Serbia, $20 million on Sesame Street in Iraq. And it's simply, it is an absolute abuse of government power. That's what Elon and President Trump are taking on. And listen, right at the heart of this is a fundamental dispute about presidential power that is built into the Constitution, which is a long-standing power of the president that is called impoundment. Impoundment is when the chief executive declines to spend money that Congress has appropriated. Impoundments existed for a long time. The first president to exercise the impoundment power was Thomas Jefferson in 1801, and Republicans and Democrats have exercised the impoundment power for centuries. Now, Richard Nixon in the 1970s was very aggressive exercising impoundment, and Congress passed a law that sought to rein in that power, and the Supreme Court upheld that law. I believe what the Trump administration is doing is engaging in a systematic litigation strategy to return the constitutional power of impoundment to the president. Doing so would be very, very good for reining in the out-of-control spending we're seeing.
100% agree with all that you've laid out there, because I think this is the one opportunity we've had, and it is shock and awe when you see what President Trump has done in such a short period of time. And there's no way you can do this piecemeal. You got to get in there and get it all out, or it never happened. But I know as a constitutional attorney, the rule of law is important to you. So Congress does have that role to watch very carefully, and I trust that you and your colleagues will be supportive of the president, but also make sure it's done in the right way, because whatever is done now can be done by the left in the future.
Undoubtedly, and we're going to see Congress come in and pass legislation this year using what is called budget reconciliation. And my hope is, with budget reconciliation, we're going to rebuild the military, we're going to secure the border, we're going to extend the Trump tax cuts and make them bigger and bolder. And I hope we see very significant spending cuts that really, I think Elon Musk and the Trump administration are blazing the way of highlighting these egregious abuses that I think should be right at the top of the list of what we're cutting. Congress, at the end of the day, has the power of the purse, and we appropriate funds. And I think we need to see congressional leadership be every bit as bold as President Trump is being right now.
Absolutely. Just about a minute left. You introduced a bill this morning. Speaking of the reconciliation is to get money for the border, you introduced a bill that would protect Border Patrol agents and local law enforcement who may risk their lives in high-speed chases. Very quickly, tell us about that.
Well, it's the Agent Raul Gonzalez Jr. Act, and what it does is it increases the penalty for illegal immigrants who engage in high-speed chases. And we see Agent Raul Gonzalez lost his life near Mission, Texas, because he was chasing a group of illegal immigrants and was killed. This puts strong prison penalties on illegal aliens engaging in a high-speed chase. It also bans them permanently from ever being legally admitted to this country. Right now, the House of Representatives today is voting on my legislation, the Agent Raul Gonzalez Act. I think it's going to pass the House, and my hope is we'll take it up at the Senate and pass it and put it on President Trump's desk so that we can protect the brave Border Patrol agents, but also protect the families and communities, especially around the border, who are endangered by these criminals fleeing the police.
All right, it should pass quickly, and the president should sign it. Senator Ted Cruz, always great to see you, my friend. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Tony. I appreciate you.